Today I'm going to show you how to cut an English collared shirt. English shirts are worn both in casual and formal attires. You can wear an English shirt inside a suit, or you can wear it on top of a chinos or a jean. Today I'm going to show you how to properly cut an English collared shirt. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel Oyasi. Hit the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video you get a first-hand notice of it. If you have any question, don't hesitate, hit me up in the comment section. I respond very fast. So let me quickly go through the measurement. Now the shirt length is 30 inches, the neck is 14.5, the armhole is 17, the sleeve length is 25, the sleeve round is 14, while the chest is 40, the shoulder is 18 inches. Our top length is 30 inches, our chest is 40 inches. We have 40 inches for the chest round, so 40 inches divided by 4, that will give us 10 inches. So we're adding 1 inch for the overlap. You know, the buttonhole area overlaps with the button area, so that we'll add 1 inch for the overlap allowance. Then we're going to add 1.5 inch for the folding of the placket. We're going to fold this part like this, so we're going to make it 1.5 inch. So we're adding that 1.5 inch. So then finally we're going to add 1 inch for the side allowance. So 10 inches plus 1 inches, that 1 inch now is for the overlap allowance. That will give us 11 inches. Then 11 inches plus 1.5 inch, that 1.5 inch now is for the folding of the placket. That will give us 12.5. Then plus 1 inch for the side allowance, that will give us 13.5 inches. So our top length is 30 inches. So I'm going to place my tape at the top of the fabric here. I'm going to measure my 30 inches. This is my 30-inch mark. I'm going to cut this at 30 inches I marked. I'm going to cut off this area now. So I'm going to fold this part by that 1.5 inch allowance that I explained. So I'm going to take my pressing iron and I'm going to press this 1.5 inch allowance down. Press it down so that it will, you can see I'm using a steam iron as usual. So you press it down. This 1.5 inch allowance. See, we've cut out our front piece and I folded the placket area with the iron. So now I folded the back into two. This is the back part. I folded it into two, but now what I did was I left 1 inch extra space here. This is the overlap allowance. You know, the front part, the buttonhole part is going to overlap with the button part, and it's going to overlap with about 1 inch. So this is the 1 inch I left out. So this is the back that I folded the back. So now the front part, now the two front pieces, now this is longer by 1 inch. This is very important, this to create the overlap, so that when it overlaps it's going to come to the same size as the back. So I'm going to make the back longer than the front by 3 inches. So I'm going to place my tape, make it longer by 3 inches. Then I'm going to cut. So it's longer by 3 inches. I'm cutting it. Now I'm going to cut this part now to align with the front part. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the neck. Now the neck formula I use is the neck round divided by 4 plus 0.5. Now we're working with the neck round of 14.5. So what I'm going to do is 14.5 divided by 4, that will give me about 3.7 inches, plus 0.5, that will give me 4.2 inches. So that 4.2 inches I'm going to take out from this area. You know, the back part of the neck is going to take some part of the neck measurement, the length of the neck, because I'm going to fold this, is going to come here like this. So the back will take about 1.5 inches. Since the back is longer by 3 inches, that means when we fold it like this, the back is going to take about 1.5 inch away from the neck. So I'm going to place my tape here and I'm going to take away that 1.5 inch from this direction. So it's going to take part of the back. Then I'm going to measure my 4.2, this 4.2 inches. This 4.2 inches. So this 4.2 inches, now for me to get the width of the neck, I'm going to divide this 4.2 divided by 2. That will give me 2.1. But I'm not placing the 2.1 from this direction. You know, this is the overlap. This is the direction where I will place my 2.1 from this back folding, because this part is going to go away when we overlap the button and the buttonhole. So I'm going to place my tape at this direction. Watch very carefully, this direction, where the back folds. Then I'm going to measure my 2.1 inches. So 2.1 inches is about here, this direction. So now when covering the neck of a button shirt or an English collared shirt, you don't curve it this way. This is a wrong way of curving. the way we curve the neck of a senator wear is different from the way we curve the neck of a collared shirt. So the way we curve the neck of a collared shirt is more like a love shape, more like a love shape, more like a V shape. So we'll curve it this way so that the collar will rest well on the neck of the person you're sewing for. So I'm going to curve it this way. As you can see, it's more like a V, more like a love shape. So it's more curved at this area. So from this direction, I'm going to curve it this way. As you can see, it goes from this direction to this direction, like a love shape, not like this, not the way we curve a senator wear. So I'm going to cut this marking I did, making sure you don't cut this back. This back is here, you're cutting only the front. So I'm going to put my scissors in like this so that I don't cut the back part. Then from this direction, I'm going to curve it like this. Like I said, it's more like a love shape. When I curve it, you see the shape of the neck. So I'm going to curve it like this. As you can see, this is the proper way to curve the neck of an English collared shirt. As you can see, it's more like a curved shape, not like that of the neck of a senator. Now we're going to take our shoulder slant. Now if you want to get more details on how to properly slant a shoulder, I did a separate video on how to slant a shoulder, but let me just explain. So we have a shoulder of 18. Now that 18 divided by 2 will give us 9 inches. Now I'm placing my 9 from this place, not from any other place. So from this back, I'm going to place my 9 inches. So this is the point of the shoulder. From this point, I'm going to slant my shoulder by 2.5 inches. So I'm going to place my tape here and I'm going to slant it by 2.5 inches from this direction. So I'm going to get my ruler, draw a straight line from this part of the neck down to my 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to curve with a straight line. I'm going to cut from this point now. As you can see, we've curved the front part of the top by our 2.5 inches. So now, as you can see, the back is still straight. So we need to curve both the front and the back. So we are going to take up the 3 inches that we curved the front with. So we're going to bend the tape just like this, then mark our 3 inches so that we'll curve the back the same way we curve the front. So these are 3 inches. If you want, you can draw a line too to connect your dots. Let me draw a line. Connect your dots. When you connect the dots, now you use your scissors and you slant the back part of the top just the way you slanted the front part of the top. Now you're going to take the back part of the top, overlap it by 1/2 inch. The reason why you're overlapping it by 1/2 inch, this is the allowance that you join the shoulder together. So when you overlap it this way, you take your pressing iron, then you press it down like this. Mark this point. This is the front neck, so I'm going to use my chalk, mark this point. When I mark this point, this is where I'm going to cut from. Then I'm going to open up the neck part. Then I'm going to mark in between here and here. I'm going to get the midpoint. The midpoint is about this direction. So from this midpoint, I'm going to curve it and connect it to this point that I marked in this area. Inches. So 18 divided by 2, that will give me 9 inches. So I'm going to place my 9 inches here. Then I'm going to measure, but I can't cut 9. I won't cut 9 inches because there needs to be 1/2 inch allowance. So I'm going to make it 9.5. That 1/2 inch allowance is what I will use to join the shoulder to the sleeve of the shirt. So from this point, I'm going to mark my 9.5. Then my armhole measurement is 17. So 17 divided by 2, that will give me 8.5 inches. So I'm going to mark my 8.5 inches from this direction. Then take it this way. This 8.5. So with a straight line, I'm going to connect this my shoulder position down to the 8.5 inches I measured for the armhole. So I'm going to connect it like this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go in here by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to place, so in between here and here, the midpoint, I'm going to mark my 1/2 inch. So now I'm going to use my scissors. I'm going to curve this from this point, curve it down with a curve down to this 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to curve it out like this. Curve it out like this. So I'm going to use my scissors. I'm going to cut from this point, curve it like this, curving both the front and the back. So I'm going to curve it like this. Now we curved the front and the back by 1/2 inch. So now I'm going to still take my tape. Now I'm going to go in again by 1 inch at this midpoint. So now this 1 inch, I'm not covering the back and the front because the back needs more allowance because of the hunch. I know the back needs more room because of the movement of the hand. So now I'm covering just the front part. I'm going to mark it like this. I'm covering just the front part like this, covering it down. Now when you're cutting this part, you make sure you are cutting just the front part. So now I'm taking my scissors. Now you open up this part. You're not covering the front and the back, you're covering just the front. So you open it up like this, curve it like this, cutting just the front part. As you can see, and I'm cutting only the front, so I'm cutting it. So as you can see, this is just the front part, as you can see. So I'm just going to curve the back a little, not up to what I curve, maybe like just to shape it. As you can see, I'm just taking a little part of the back, curving it to make sure I align it to this part. So I'm going to curve it like this, and I'm going to take it like this. I'm going to curve it like this. So I'm about to cut the sleeves. Folded it by 4 because I want to cut the 2 sleeves at once. So now we have a sleeve length of 25 inches. Cuff length is usually 2.5 inches. So that 2.5 inches, now I'm taking it out from here. As you can see from this tape, I'm taking it out. I'm taking my 2.5 inches, then I'm leaving 1/2 inch for the joining of the sleeve to the shoulder of the shirt. So now I've taken out my 2.5 inches, leaving 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to measure my 25 inches. So my 25 inches stops around here. So I'm going to mark 25 inches here. So now I'm going to take in my cap height to get the curve of my sleeve. So now the formula I usually use for my cap height is the armhole divided by 4. So I have a armhole of 17. 17 divided by 4, that will give me about 4¼ inch. So I'm going to take out my 4¼ inch here. I'm going to mark. This will be my cap height. So I'm going to draw my straight line from here to this spot. Okay, so now I've drawn the straight line from this position down to this position. So in the midpoint of this line, that's from here to here, the midpoint, I'm going to take it out by 1/2 inch. From this midpoint, I'm going to take it out by 1/2 inch. So this 1/2 inch, this is where I'll now structure my curve. So my curve will start from this position down to this position, then curve it down like this till I get to this spot. Curve it like this. I get it to this position like this. My short sleeve round is 14 inches, so 14 divided by 2, that will give me 7 inches. I'm going to add 1 inch to that will give me 8 inches. I'm going to mark. Then I'm going to mark my long sleeve round. That should be about 6 inches. I'm going to mark. Then from here, I'm going to curve it like this. Curve it like this till I connect it down to this spot, down to the armhole. So now the last part we'll cut is the yoke. So I've taken the back part of the top, I folded it into 2, then I folded a piece of fabric into 2, as you can see. So I folded it into 2. So now I'm going to trace out the yoke. So from this direction, I'm going to cut it like this, cover my neck, just the same shape like the back of the top, curve it out. Then when I curve it out, I'm going to curve the shoulder, the slant of the shoulder. I'm going to cut the side out like this.
I did a video on how to cut an English trouser. Click on this spot to watch that video. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel Luyasi. Hit the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video you get the first time notice of it. If you have any question, don't hesitate, hit me up in the comment section. Thank you.